Alright, so this is my first recording of my gym exercise. This was an upper body day, and as you can see here, I started doing a bunch of warm-ups with the band. I like to do this to warm my shoulders up quite a bit, because if I don't do this, it just feels too tight, it feels too cold. So as this goes along, you'll see that I'm doing a bunch of different things. But to give perspective why I'm doing this, I really just want to create a log of me exercising and seeing where can I improve, where am I lacking with certain parts. Because at the end of the day, I do want to be the best version of myself, but I'm not able to do that if I do not actually see what I'm doing and tracking what I'm doing or where I'm lacking. So therefore I've decided to go and do something like this, because even though it doesn't take that much more time to set up the recording and things to do the videos, let's say for the entire workout, time that is used for the recordings and to view it and to make sure the placement and things are right, that can take anything from between 5 to 10 minutes over the entire session. And as I'm doing it more and more, it will definitely become a faster setup each and every single time. So yeah, let's continue with what I'm doing over here. I've been warming up my shoulders, making the rotator cuffs a bit loose, and now I'm just doing a nice little banded pull. And I'm really trying to squeeze my back together, trying to get my back as small as possible by squeezing it together. The shoulder blades must kind of try and touch, and it's really just to activate the right muscles, because this is an upper body day, so therefore it is really important to make sure everything is really like well warmed up and I'm not going to injure anything. Yeah, so basically we've just came out of lockdown, and I've been back at the gym now for nearly 2 to 3 weeks, I suppose. 2 weeks was just really getting back into the habit of exercising, and here I'm just continuing with where I left off. But my girlfriend is a PT, and it has come to my attention that I really do need to focus on my mobility and things like that. So in some of these videos there will be some mobility work that I am doing each and every single day, because it is quite important to me to make sure that my body is in a good state. But as you can see over here, I'm just warming up with light dumbbells, doing some upper chest. And of course I feel a little bit more secured if I lift my head up, trying to look in the mirror to see if I'm doing the movement accurately. There is a bit of drive through my legs, and my bum is trying to stay intact with the seat. So this is now my first working set, and I am really trying to keep my elbows a bit more tucked in to try and avoid over excessive shoulder usage, because I do not want to end up hurting my shoulders more. Because when I was younger, I actually had a problem where I was dumbbell pressing quite a bit heavier than this. However, it was not the best movement that I did, and my elbows at the time was much more flared out. So here I'm tucking it in to have more chest activation, but also a safer shoulder. But back then, when my elbows was flared out, it felt like I had a pop when I did the entire extension to the top. Like it literally popped out, or it felt like that at least. And then the weight was heavy enough to pop it right back in. It wasn't a complete dislocation, but it was a very uncomfortable um, experience, I would say. And this is my last working set. This is 35 kilos per hand. So yeah, I'm really starting to struggle over here. My strength on the incline is really not that great, and also I'm not doing dumbbell press that often, so I'm trying to change that as well, to do it a bit more often. Next up, I just wanted to have a bit of a breather by doing some machine work, and this is another exercise that I haven't done for a very long time. I would say at least for the last 2 years or even more, possibly even 3 years, that I haven't really exercised decline chest. And with this, I can really start to feel my chest contracting, as it is a part that I rarely exercise. So I do feel that doing this definitely helps developing my chest more, because I might be strong with flat bench. However, with exercises like this, it definitely feels that I'm lacking at certain parts. Another thing for me to look at over here is that my shoulders do not rise too much with each rep, that I'm trying to keep them in alignment and not really pushing through my shoulders, but more through my elbows into my hands and activating my chest as well. But I'm doing these quite at a slow pace, I would say. It is a bit heavy, but with the slow pace I can really try and contract the muscle that I am intending to work. Next, I moved over to some cable flies, and as you can see, that weight stack is quite small. I think that was about like 10 kilos. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, around 10 kilos, because it's about 2.5 kilos per plate. So 10 kilos per side, and I'm really trying to keep my arms a bit more extended when doing this, and try and squeeze my elbows together at the last part to try and get as much contraction as possible through each and every rep. I'm also not lifting my elbows too high that you're basically seeing the entire arm from the biceps tip until the tricep, so like the width of your arm, because that's just also exerting excessive amounts of force on your shoulders, which you want to avoid. So it's really like, if you think about it, an underslung move that you're trying to do as you're pushing throughout. And yeah, my feet are apart when I'm doing this. Sometimes I vary it with having my feet placed right next to each other. On the lower weight, it is a bit easier to keep your feet next to each other, parallel. On heavier weight, you definitely want to have this stance. There you can see I'm trying to just focus. But the difficult thing with this is the weight starts to pull your body a bit more back. So I think the best way to go forward is to just alternate after a couple of reps. Let's say you do 12 reps, so after 6 reps you try and change your stance with your feet. Next, I went to do a couple of back exercises, and this was just a seated machine row. As you can see there in the mirror, I have a overhand position, and I am also a bit further away from the chest support. You'll see that in the next clip. And I'm really trying to not rotate my back too much and try and keep the attention on a single part. So on the right side, my back is staying stable there, and the left side has a bit of rotation, of course, to get the entire range of motion in. And I'm also sitting up quite high, because I'm 187 tall, and I'm just trying to get the best spot for me to work my back. So here you can see I'm pushing myself a bit away from the chest support piece, as it is now like near my abs really, and I just find this a lot more comfortable than sitting very low with the seat and then having to pull down from top to bottom. So I just feel this is a much better position for me. Also, I'm changing my hand position, so I'm doing a couple of reps for overhand. So of course the weight also went up, doing overhand reps, and then basically grabbing it to a vertical position. So like grabbing a, what do you call it? Like a handbrake of a rally car, pretty much having that grip on it. And then just a double overhand, but it's quite wide. It was right on the edge that I just did double overhands. I dropped the weight a bit again to make sure I can get a full range of motion and contraction. So yeah, I think I've done these pretty well, maybe a bit too fast. I could have done that a bit slower. Then I went to do a bit of shoulders. So this, as you could see, this wasn't a big back day, but it is definitely an upper body day. So for this day I did shoulders, just light weights. When you do lateral raises, you don't really need to go that heavy if you're doing it with strict moves and trying to keep the tension in your shoulder and not raising it through your trap. It definitely helps to grow the delts a bit more, I think, than cheating reps and swinging through your hips. So here I did 3 sets, and every single time it was pretty slow movements, trying to keep the tension right in there. So I still have a bit of a swing here and there. I mean, you're always going to have some parts where you swing a bit more than others, but definitely something that I can improve on, or even try and sit down on a bench with a back support to try and isolate the shoulders completely. Here you'll see that my back, you actually use your back quite a bit with this, as well as the mid back is, or the mid upper back is really trying to keep the entire upper body stable. But the important thing for me to notice here is that I'm not putting through my traps too much, which is a good sign. So trying to keep all of the muscle usage where I'm intending it to go to, and that is of course to my delts. So yeah, this was pretty difficult doing it so slow. It actually burns after not even hitting 10 reps. And then I wanted to finish off with a bit of arms. So here it is, doing some tricep extensions, just single arm, and I'm doing both sides, so it's a bit of a different head of the tricep that I'm hitting with the exact same exercise and not having to change the whole time. And you can see the weight isn't too heavy, but it is all about the contraction and trying to get the full range of motion out of the exercise. Yeah, another thing I think to do with this is to ensure that you do not do the extension by holding a vertical grip. It must try and be a underhand grip and an overhand grip. Of course, you can still do like a hammer grip with it. However, I think you're hitting the tricep heads a lot better by having an underhand and overhand position. Then, of course, doing a bit of biceps, just easy bar curls. I'm swaying quite a bit here, so I think I can do that better next time as well. Trying to stiff it to just stand better, or even just go do strict curls where I'm leaning against the wall, and then putting my elbows against the wall to try and ensure that I do not cheat. So then I did this tricep extension push down, also trying to get the full range of motion, and yeah, make sure that you're pushing the bar into your thighs, as that's quite important to get everything out of it and not just pushing a bit and basically wasting your time. Then I just finished it off with straight barbell curls, and I would say it's quite a killer doing arms like this, doing monster sets, going tricep, bicep, tricep, bicep. And even though I'm doing it quite fast, I think my arms are a little bit stable there. And yeah, that was pretty much my workout. So I will be continuing to upload more and more videos like this, where I am logging what I'm doing to track my progress and to see, do I actually improve from time to time? Am I actually getting stronger? So yeah, a lot going into it, a lot of research to do to see how I can improve with certain things. And definitely I have to do a bit more stretching and mobility work, but that will also be in other videos in the future. Alright, that's it for this one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.